True.
Like, it could be.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Easter. Welcome to another episode of TNT Footy. I'm Taz.
I'm Todd. Happy Easter, everyone.
And I'm Egi. How are we all?
Good. I did not do the intro like we rehearsed.
This is all right.
Yeah,
We cracked under pressure, did we?
Always,
we
mate.
did. Well, Taz, I was waiting for Taz. I'm like, oh, geez, better go. But it worked all right. We had a bit of Easter going.
We're a year and a bit in. I still can't get it right.
Nah, that's it. That's all right. How was your Easter anyway, boys?
Nice and quiet, mate. What about yourself?
I was at the footy. I went to a Swans game.
Oh, that's right.
Christmas or Easter, so I had niece and nephew with me and my brother. So we cracked onto that one.
So, who are you supporting?
Swans. I had a Swans Guernsey on.
So you're the problem this weekend. One North Melbourne and Sydney lost.
Yeah, that's it. Well, North Melbourne we'll talk about later. I don't think that was entirely. I think they were going to lose anyway, but that was very badly umpired, that game.
That was disgraceful. And what about you, Eggy? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I went to Phillip Island. Went down and saw Prime Train play down at Phillip Island. He snags 8 goals, and you should see a video come up on the TikTok over the next couple of days. So make sure you follow him.
Beautiful. Tonight we've got a pretty decent show, actually. A fair few things to cover off. Obviously, we're going to cover off round 3 results. Moisty's minute is going to be a little bit different tonight, but we've got a bit of a question we're going to discuss for a minute. We've got Eggy's deep dive. We've got some viewer questions. Then we're going to go through the tipping as always. However, we've got
Jesus.
We have got some news.
Yeah.
We do have some news.
About a month or so ago, we decided to create and purchase our own TNT Footy shirts just to wear to footy games and, when we're out and about to try and promote our show because we're trying to grow. Since we put up a few posts about our shirts, we've actually had quite a number of people inquire wondering if they can look at buying their own shirts and, because they really want to support the show as well, which is just blows my mind. It's amazing, and we're all really grateful for the support that you guys give us. So what we've done, we've gotten to work in the background, and we've actually set up a store. Us 3 idiots have managed to set up an online store.
We got there in the end.
It took a few days.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks in the making, but we got there.
We were going to try and launch it last week, but we had a few technical difficulties. When we got there.
We're not the
Let it
most
go.
tech savvy blokes out there, but we managed to get the store up and running. So this is our launch. So we're going to post the link in chat, and basically we've got t-shirts and we've got hats on there at the moment.
Just for now, we might look at a bit of other stuff too in the near future.
Absolutely, we've got some great ideas on what we want to do. Egi, do you want to talk through what we're doing as a launch special?
Oh, we do. We got 10% off for the first 10 customers. Now I can't remember the code but it was TNT space footy 10, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure TNT Footy 10, no space.
I know
Yes,
space.
that is
Any
correct.
capitals?
All capitals, TNT, and the F is capitals. But yeah, so that'll be the first 10 people and active for a week. So yeah, just thought we'd share that. It's pretty exciting from our point of view. I didn't ever think that we'd
do a store. We just thought, we'll get a bit of merch. Once we did the t-shirts, I got about 4 or 5 blokes saying, where can they buy one? So we thought, we'll crack in.
Took us by surprise. So it's great. And
thanks everyone for the support.
Definitely.
Yeah,
We'll catch up a little bit on chat too, because I just saw some big news as well. This isn't the big news. Turtle put a Guinea's still hard done by, but that's my first comment. And Carlton Flag, as I said, hey, just wanted to let you guys know that I'll be deleting my account. Thank you guys.
Oh no,
that's very good. You've been
Flaggers.
good. Thanks anyway, Flaggers. You've been a loyal supporter, I think.
Absolutely.
Email every week.
If you don't want to delete it, reach out. So we do know a heap of Carlton supporters that may be interested.
Absolutely, and hopefully everything is okay. That's probably the main thing. But thank you for being.
He got us.
April Fool's. Oh, there we go. I knew we'd get one tonight.
I don't know. We're fishing. Jeez.
I forgot it was before 12 o'clock in WA.
It's not that far behind, but yeah, no, that was good, Flaggers. It was a bad one. I seen that on the chat before. I thought, we might get to that later, but I didn't even think that was an April Fool.
I'm
going to have to go back and clip that.
Yeah.
G'day, Doc, too, and happy Easter to you too, Craig.
Absolutely.
Up the doggies.
Oh, goodness. Welcome, everyone. All right, let's get into the results, boys. Who wants to kick us off?
We'll start, a Brisbane Collingwood up at the Gabba. That was a bit of a surprise to me.
It wasn't a surprise to everyone.
But
it was good to see.
It was good for Egi, and we've got a lot of Collingwood supporters, so it's good to see them finally off the mark. But I hear there's a bit of turmoil in Brisbane as well.
Yeah,
we're not going to touch on that yet.
Not going to touch on that. Oh, that's coming up later. All right, sweet. Shows what happens when I'm late to the show. I don't read the notes.
So as everyone knows, we're really not professional. We like to have a bit of a laugh, and that's just a bit of fun.
But it was good to see Collingwood, especially that last quarter. I think they were a bit sloppy early. There's a lot of sloppy football this weekend. A lot of sloppy football.
Well, they come out firing in the first quarter, and I don't even think they scored in the second quarter.
No, it didn't score a point. But then the last quarter was back to Collingwood at their best, just hunting in pressure, hunting together, and then breaking away.
Absolutely. Feels so long ago.
It does, doesn't it? It felt like such long ago. Like it was almost
it feels like a week.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think back, and I'm like, I can't actually remember the game. Oh, goodness.
It was a good game. Yeah, it's good to see Collingwood firing, and they probably needed to win.
I still think their execution was a bit out, so they might have just called Brisbane at the right time after the bye. But yeah, we'll see in the next coming weeks. So they've got a few big tasks.
Oh, they got North Melbourne next week. So if North Melbourne beat Brisbane, you can say the Collingwood win's not very expected. we'll let it know.
I think this is where Collingwood can turn it around. But like we said on last week's show, it's so early into the season. Any team, doesn't matter where they are on the ladder right now, can still make finals.
Yeah.
So I think the media do tend to jump the gun a bit, but it's not really until
early wins are important, though.
Absolutely they are.
In this type of game format where we haven't had it this close for like the last couple of years, yes, but like in the old days, there was always 3 or 4 teams that could win it early on.
Yeah.
Now it's 9 or 10 teams that can win it all the way through even more, probably 12 or 13. So early wins are absolutely necessities. I think
the AFL have definitely got what they wanted with the close leagues.
Yeah. Especially like Sydney going down and like Bombers getting up as well. There were a few underdogs, but they look impressive as well. So compared to last year, like a lot of those teams are looking pretty good to come into the 8 as well. So
Yeah,
quite the fight.
My tipping took a drastic turn.
Oh, mate, my tipping this season's been drastic.
All right,
we're on to the next game. I think me and Tassie went to this game. Me, Tassie, and a few other mates tagged along to the North Melbourne Carlton. I'll let you start this one off, Egi, because
yes.
Well, I didn't get to see. I was on my way down to Phillip Island, staying down there for Easter, and I did work in the morning, so that's why we were going down a bit later. We got caught in a bit of traffic. But I was listening to it. It did sounded pretty good for the first the first quarter, and then they started to draw away in the second, wasn't it?
It was third of the third, I think, and it was after a few controversial calls that just sort of took the sting out of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like me and Taz were sitting there saying that last quarter was very boring, but it wasn't the players' fault. I think the sting got taken out by a few rotten decisions. Yeah,
but I think we're going to touch on a bit more in depth than that a bit later.
Yeah, definitely we are. Carlton would sort of kick ahead, and then towards the end of each quarter, North Melbourne would get a few goals and claw the margin back. But I'll tell you what, North Melbourne, I keep saying it, their young brigade is unreal.
Yeah.
You've got Sheasel, Wardlaw, even Powell is starting to really show.
Yeah, Powell's starting to show through. You got McKercher. You got Dersma showed a few signs in front of us.
Yep, absolutely. So you got something to really look forward to in the.
They're going to be deadly in the next couple of, if they can keep them all together. That's the drama.
I think they will. I really do, because they've all come in at the same age.
Yeah.
So
and Sheasel got interviewed by Buckley the other day, and he said he likes the coaching group. He likes it, and that's why he signed long deal. He likes the blokes, his boys he's got around him. They're all good mates and that. So
yeah, and that's the key. Look at Carlton with Mackay and Kerner. They all come in at the same crop.
Yeah. And
if they stick together, who knows what can happen. So,
it.
Carlton looked good. Their ball movement towards from turnovers, their scoring from turnovers has improved significantly. They're actually second in the competition now.
Yeah.
Last year it was, I think we were last or second last for scores off turnovers. So huge improvement from work on the off season there for them.
And their twin towers are nearly going to be impossible to stop this year. Even Mackay, he played a bit of ruck time and looked fantastic through the ruck as well, getting up in the logos. And
all I can say is I picked it.
Yeah, you did. You did just say they both fire, but they're both starting to fire real well. So it's going to be tough to stop them.
It's good to watch from being. I'm loving it.
Yep,
loving it. All right, keep moving, boys. Let's go.
Freo Adelaide. Now, this was probably the most boringest game to watch, I believe.
Sloppy till half time, I think we'll call that.
It was
very, very sloppy to half time.
I think I did the dirty and went over to the NRL.
Oh,
yeah. I watched the Fremantle look good late.
Yeah, it did look good late.
It was a strap fest early, and you can tell, I think, and I was listening to a commentator earlier, you can tell they started the season early and they didn't give the senior players time to recover from last year's season and get fit and ready for this. So that's why they reckon that's why we're seeing a lot of the, I won't say the elite, but the aged footballers that were exceptional last year have a drop off this year. They're still trying to get fitness into their body and get going, like the Dangerfields, the Pendleburys, the Sidebottoms. They're trying to work into their game. Whereas it's 2 weeks less this year, 2 weeks less preseason, a later start to preseason, and it's taken a toll, I reckon.
It could do. Absolutely. Fremantle do look pretty good, though, when they're on song.
Oh, it looks scary.
Yeah, their ball movement and their midfield brigade with Brayshaw, Sarong. You got Young running through there now and Fife back in the middle. It's a pretty good midfield unit.
Yeah, just to catch up on chat. Doc's got a question for us. We'll touch on that a bit later. Carlton Flaggers, he's got terrible tipping, and then he said, "I don't like to say Twin Towers." And he's got Anthony's got free kick Carlton. I think he went to the game with you, didn't he?
He did.
Was there an inside joke? Was it?
Oh, there's a chant going around, and I had mates on the other side of the ground to the game. Well, not mates, but work colleagues, and they said they heard it too. All you could hear for about a good 5 minutes was "Free kick Carlton," and it just went for about 5 minutes. That's all, and the umpires heard it because it went worse. After that sound, it got worse.
I'll have to pull out my video and maybe post it on our socials because it was hilarious.
Oh, it was fun. I sent it to a mate, Dunny. He's like, "Are you angry?" I said, "Mate, it is the funniest thing I've never heard that at the footy before, but it was the
Yeah.
funniest thing." We were laughing for a good 10 minutes after it, and it sort of fixed a bit of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Sil, he's gone, I really enjoyed the chant at the game on Good Friday. So oh, that was good. Essendon St Kilda. I thought this was a really good match and a statement
really
by
good match.
Essendon.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the first quarter and then got a message saying, "Get on, it's good." So I'm out fishing with it on my phone. Me and my brother were watching it on the fishing boat.
That's dedication right there, isn't it?
Watching it on we're out on the fishing boat, and then Dunny said, "Turn it on, it's a cracking game." And we turned it on. We watched it on the phone for the last 3 quarters.
Yeah. Great win by Essendon too. And they went out in the off-season and plugged holes like they needed to with they only targeted players that they needed. And Mackay was definitely one of those players. Now, I've seen mixed reviews saying he was really good, but he was also pretty ordinary on the weekend. I think he fits exactly what they need, and he's playing his role exactly the way they want him.
Well, that's what they needed. They needed a key back to lockdown, bit of intercept marking as well, and that's what they've got out of him. First 3 weeks, he's been pretty good.
He's been a bit sloppy with his disposal, but that'll improve as he starts to build into exactly how the team wants to play.
A bit more confidence. And what do you think of Nick Martin? I've heard mixed reviews. Everyone's giving him a hard time because he's had 6 kickings. I've seen Dacos have 12 kickings one game.
He's going to be a Brownlow favourite.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 44 touches. Who cares if 6 of them were kickings? He's still standing 38 times.
Yeah. Didn't he have 29 at halftime?
Yeah, 29, and he's had 32 effective disposals.
Yeah, that's insane.
Giving him a hard time.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
I
they're
think
saying he's not worthy of a top performer because he's like 3rd or 4th in the all-time possessions for Richmond now, and they're saying can't happen because of kickings. And I'm thinking, well, scrap 90% of Dacos's then.
Well, any backman who racks up disposals,
Sheasel,
really.
he does it too. Sheasel does it a lot.
Yep. No, I think 6 is nothing anyway.
Yeah, 6 kickings is bugger all.
That's right. No, I think that's great, and I think Nick Martin's he really played very well on the weekend.
Well, he's moved to halfback's been real good for him too. That halfback now, you got Redmond, Martin, and McGrath running off that halfback. It's pretty electrifying halfback.
Yeah, absolutely. And having Jones back in the forward line, he played a ripper game in filling in for Peter Wright. I thought it was really good. St Kilda definitely missed Max King, in my opinion. They definitely need him back in that forward line structure. Caminiti's just not the same quality.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Just giggling at Turtle here. Nick averaged 2 kickings in his first 2 years, and a fact, so stop the bias, Todd. But he averaged 2 kickings from the midfield. He's now playing halfback, which is the job of the halfback. You don't want your fullback kicking the football in. Because we've seen that a few times on the week. We've seen that at the North game with Wiedering.
Yeah.
Straight down, power stroke, bang, goal.
It wasn't Wiedering, it was McGovern.
McGovern, was it? Well,
Wiedering's a much better kick.
Well, Anthony's got, I really enjoyed the chant at the game on Good Friday. Artie's got, best on ground in today's game was the Yellow Maggots. Anthony, everyone giving him a hard time could only dream of 44 touches. Carlton Flagger said he played well.
Yeah, I thought he did too, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get on to the next one. So we've got Port Adelaide and Melbourne, and I did not expect this.
No, this was a cracker of a game. This was goal for goal for nearly the entire game.
This was game of the round, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, all the Essendon St Kilda, you can't take that away. That Essendon St Kilda finish was superb.
Yeah, I do think Port Melbourne was a cracking game. Charlie Dixon.
He's a bit off.
So important to Port Adelaide, though.
Yeah. But he gets firing. I thought he was a bit off on the weekend. He gets firing. Look out.
Well, he's still working back into it after having, significant time off from injury again. But Todd Marshall's starting to stand up and actually show what he was picked up for as well. So if him and Dixon can form, a really good duo partnership, Port could go quite deep into September.
Yeah.
But watch Melbourne too. That was a good performance late by Melbourne.
Were they top 4 last year, Port Adelaide? I feel like they were.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were top 4 the last couple of years, I think.
Oh, were they?
Been straight sets the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's right. Ben Brown to Melbourne, very important.
Well, he was impressive, but they've been missing that. Like he hasn't done that for him, and that's what they've been missing. So if he can keep doing this consistently and lock his spot there, Melbourne becomes scarier again.
Definitely, because it lets Fritsch get off the chain.
Yeah.
Because Ben
And
Brown
he's-
takes
and
the most dangerous defender.
And he's starting to kick a little bit straighter. Not a heap straighter, but a little bit.
Yeah, he's still
And
running
probably
the other side of Australia, but
who's that? Sorry.
you still run up. His run up still from the other side.
Oh yeah, but helps him kick. Like he's one of the best kicks in the comp.
He is. And Melbourne did that win without Stephen May as well.
Yep, very impressive. But they've probably also got, and I'm calling this early, the All-Australian ruckman. I don't think anyone's beaten him out.
Nah,
Max Gawn is near home.
177.
177,
Yeah.
but he's just elite around the ground. He's
Yeah.
had 50 hit outs, so that's probably, I didn't look into it, but it'd be 10 more than anyone else in the game this week.
Yeah, he's
Had
huge.
23, 24 touches around the ground. I just think he's unstoppable. When he's firing, you can tell Max Gawn's probably the most important player at Melbourne.
Definitely. 100% agree with that. Who was next? We had Doggies and Eagles. That was expected.
Yeah.
Eagles started real strong.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
They
They were in it for the first 14 minutes, and then
then-
or maybe even the first quarter it could have been 2, but then they slowly drew away after that.
No, well, they kicked 2 goals, 3 in the first 2 minutes. So they've kicked 1 goal, 9 for the rest of the game.
Yeah, which is not great.
Not
for them,
great,
but a
the
good
2
start.
goals, 3 was good, yeah.
Good start. Harley Reid is going to be a freak.
He's going to
Absolutely.
be, but he's just working into it as well. Like
Yeah,
everyone
but I
expects
think-
these first rounders to come out and just explode because of Dacos and Sheasel, but
Yeah.
they're not all Dacos, they're not all Sheasel, they're not all even
He
Ashcroft.
he is going to be impressive, but I hope West Coast pick up their game because it's going to hold them back a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will. Yeah, definitely. And
Well, then I say that when North Melbourne hasn't been wasn't that competitive last year, but Diesel sure did stand out. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But
but they're on the improve.
Yeah.
I think Sheasel's come there. I can't see West Coast improving for the next couple where I can see North's got everything in place to make that step at some point in the
Yeah.
next couple of years.
They're just
I
going
don't
to
think
be
West Coast
like Essendon and Sydney and fill those holes.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, Harley Reid's a different type of player to them as well. He's more of your Petrarca type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dustin Martin, Petrarca, where they take a bit longer, they're bigger bodies.
Yes, but I think he is a little bit more skillful than what Dustin Martin and that are. They were more powerful players. Harley Reid seems to be powerful, but he's also got that skill about him as well.
Yeah.
Did you see that play on the wing? Where
Where he had the 2 don't argues, the handball over the top, and
and the spin out of trouble or something.
take
That was, and then he
it
got
was
the
very
1-2.
graceful.
That's fantastic, and that's got to give the Eagles supporters something to look forward to if they can keep him.
Well, I've heard, and this is from a pretty reliable source, I've heard he's dating someone over there now.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
He's dating one of the one of the girls that have something to do with the club.
Yep.
So could be getting ready to settle in. And I've got Artie here saying I don't think Reid will stay at West Coast forever.
And Anthony. Reid will win
Anthony,
games
so-
for himself. Gonna be a gun.
Yeah,
He will.
absolutely. Gonna
But
be.
I said earlier I hope he didn't, but I think that was a bit of bias trying to get him to North Melbourne. But
Yeah,
he could be pretty handy for West Coast.
Yeah.
And there are players that have done it. Look at Mundy from Seymour, goes over to Freo, stays there his whole career. That's one off the top of the head, but I'm sure there's more that have done it.
But do you think like the Sheasels and the Dacos and the Harley Reid and that they're all from Melbourne? Like the midfields down here is like it's a lot harder to become the standout because we've got a lot more players to contend with in like the draft and that. Whereas if you go to like WA or Gold Coast or sort of like Queensland or New South Wales, there's not as many players there.
Also, no, because those leagues are starting to get better though.
Yeah.
Like we are the
Waffle's
Premier
a good
League,
league.
but yeah, the Waffle's a great league. But we are the Premier League, but they're starting to improve over there, and you're seeing that with the talent coming from all those guys.
I still would love to see a second tier competition like AFL.
I think they're close, aren't they?
Well, VFL is including New South Wales and Queensland now, so we
Fantastic.
are a step closer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But then that's a whole different. Like to include WA is a lot of money.
Oh,
They're
and
gonna have to get
Sanford.
that.
Yeah.
Because they've got to fly 3 or 4 VFL teams around Australia like they do with the AFL, and it's not cheap. But
Well, I reckon they should have it at the fields with like when there's not like the Melbourne clubs, when they're not playing Melbourne, when it's like a Melbourne interstate team and they get like 20,000 or 30,000. They should play the games then on those fields before those games. Try and boost
they
up.
play VFL, so you get a double header.
Yeah,
like a curtain raiser.
yeah,
Yeah,
you get a curtain raise, and it's going to boost up the numbers to go.
Well,
to the game
I
as well.
think
like they used to.
if they bring in a secondary league, though, I can see that happening because every team will have their own VFL team, and you will get 2 games. So you'll get North Melbourne Carlton, as long as it's not Marvel, where they'll have to schedule it a bit different. So there's not 3 games there in the one day, but you can have a 1 o'clock game and then a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah, you could definitely do it. You just got to watch the ground doesn't get too cut up either.
Yeah, that's
another thing here.
Yeah. I'll just catch us up a bit on chat, and we'll probably touch on this one after we talk about today's game. But Artie's got Geelong are the most protected species in the AFL. I guess when you come from arse end of Victoria, you have to be looked after. I wonder if that'll change when Tassie come into it, Artie.
Yep.
Coming from the arse end of Victoria. And Craig here is talking about Reed's girlfriend. She plays AFLW, he's pretty sure. And then Flag is, there's some diehard waffle older fans and they probably won't like it. They most likely make up the fan bases. It would be hard. It would be hard. But I think
because it's a long way to come then too. You want to, if you're grown up watching those comps and there's 5, well, there's probably 10. I don't know much about the leagues over there, but I'd say there'd be 10 teams in a little VFL mini thing over there. And then who do you pick to come up? You've got to take 2 of those teams. It takes all the players from those leagues, and then the local footy suffers as well.
Yeah, it does. It has a flow-on effect, but it could also improve the standard of the AFL.
Yeah.
From the other side. And if you are like VFL players or second tier competition players at the moment don't get paid anywhere near as much as an AFL player. So that's something else that the clubs would have to look at trying to incorporate into their expenses as well, is they would have to fly the players. And that's probably why they've got the Queensland teams in now, just to trial it and see what it's like.
And see how it's going,
But and from all reports, it's going pretty well.
Oh, I can understand. Like, there's always more room to grow. Like, used to go to a lot of AFL footy, and the footy's just as electric. It's probably even more so because they've got more players to choose from, and the teams are more competitive at that level. Like,
yeah, but you still have the other end of the barrel players in the VFL as well.
Yeah,
the ones that aren't quite good enough for VFL, still getting an opportunity to try and get some exposure.
Yeah.
All right, we could talk about this all day. We've got 2
No, that's it.
Yeah. This was probably for me the upset of the round, Richmond over Sydney.
Yes.
I was live at this game, and we'll talk about it a bit, but I'll leave that till later on with the umpire. But I was live at this game, and Sydney were off. They were over kicking, under kicking. It was probably because of the pressure Richmond were putting on. Plus, they were 1, 2, 3 tacklers just stopping the quick release. They were all over Sydney.
Yeah, right. So they were hunting impacts.
And Sydney were just, their kicks were 10 metres too long, 3 metres too short, and it was just over the top floating, and it was just, missing 1s, 2s.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I didn't watch the game, so I can't say too much, but I did hear that Tom Lynch tore a hamstring.
That was late. That was like 3 minutes to go in the game.
But he's going to miss 8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, I did know that. Yep.
Noah Bolter, I think, is injured as well. He's going to miss.
I did not see him go off. I heard that, but didn't see him go off.
Yeah, he was early in the game from what I heard. And I think it was Liam Baker's got 1 or 2 weeks suspension.
Yeah, I did see that incident, and that's probably deserving. I think he got 1 week. They'd want to accept that, though. I thought it was worse than that.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Eggy, any thoughts on Richmond, Sydney?
I didn't see most of it. I was at the beach most of the time, but I think I watched the last bit and I was like, oh shit. Can't believe Richmond won. Yeah. Also, Craig Williams put in chat, one of the young Seymour Lions players plays for GWS.
He plays the GWS VFL team, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And it's Nick Quigg.
And Turtle's pushing buttons here. People have mentioned McKercher leaving to move home, yet his home is in Tassie. Is a 3-hour drive from Hobart to Launceston or a 1-hour flight from Melbourne. Don't think he will leave we're going.
So I can talk about that topic too, because there are some elite Tasmania talents that they're going to want to target. So
Rao
you've got
Anderson.
Percher, you've got Rao Anderson, you've got Sanders.
Yep.
This crop, like if Tassie can get a hold of 3 or 4, their midfield will just go bang straight away.
Yeah, which is
And
what
they're all coming. Yeah, and they're all coming out of contract in that next 3. So McKercher is only signed for 2 more, I believe. So he'll be out in 3. Rao's out there. Anderson's out there. Like they're all coming out around there. So Tassie could have a lot of home talent coming home.
Tassie could come in and win a final before Gold Coast does.
Gold Coast will get one this year, mate.
Sills also put Bolter out for 4 to 5 weeks. The injury with seconds left in the game.
I didn't think he was early. That's why when you said
early.
first early, I was like, he was kicking goal in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, my bad.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
sorry, Egi, didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's right. He's also umps on their side. Weakest fixture coming home, playing weak teams on their cow paddocks. They must be about Geelong.
Artie loves
the Doc
Geelong.
Lynch needs surgery.
Oh, geez, he's missed a lot of footy, that guy.
he's going to miss some more too. So
Yeah.
I dare say they wouldn't race him back. I dare say probably round 18, 19. I reckon he's going to be out for
And would you even bother? Like,
well, that's what I was going to say. Not, but he probably wants to get back,
Yeah.
and it'll lead fitness into next year. Then, like he
which
won't
it does.
stop. Yeah,
It definitely does, because we saw that with Charlie Kerner when he came back for those last 4 games of the season, 2021 or 2, whenever it was.
So we touched on the last game for Easter Monday was Geelong v Hawthorn. Before we
They
start,
got away, didn't it?
yeah, Doc wants to know what are your thoughts on what's it Hawkins on his phone.
No, me and Tassie were talking about this pre-show,
Yeah.
and he thought it was bad, and I thought, what? Like, just wait for the explanation. What
yeah,
if
well,
his
because
wife had an accident, the kids, something's happened to the kids. Right?
they should
She
all
was
be,
on the radio.
Yeah, they should all be there because was it his 300 game or
350th.
350th?
Yeah.
But you never know. It could be a family emergency, something to do with. I don't want to wish anything bad on him, but let's just hear the actual story behind it first. Like,
Yeah.
if it's his mate calling to congratulate him, maybe give him a bit of a fine. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't know.
absolutely. Because I think they lock them away, don't they? They lock them away.
Yeah, they're supposed to. Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe because it's the 350th game, such a big milestone, and maybe they might have gave him some slack or something. Or
The AFL might have already approved it too. You just don't know. Like,
well, that's it.
yeah,
comes out Tuesday tomorrow, and the AFL go, no, we told him we'd have it. Look,
yeah,
just let's hear what it goes, and we'll see from there. But I don't.
If he has had it just for no reason, then he has to get that $20,000 fine, like Collingwood players did last year.
yeah.
Which I don't really, and Collingwood got 20 for the same reason. Yes, that's what we just mentioned. Turtle, Turtle's just come up and said, Collingwood got a fine for the same reason, but you've got to see the circumstances first. The AFL could have pre-approved it. He could have been talking to a grandparent that couldn't get there that was congratulated. I don't know. You can do that after the game, I know, but let's just hear what it was first.
Hear the reasoning for sure.
But if he has got none, yes, I agree. $20,000 fine.
But did you boys catch the game? Did you?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, the 20 minutes they were in the rooms. None.
Yeah.
was delayed, wasn't it? And Hawthorn, I'll tell you what, if there was no rain after that delay, Hawthorn would have won that. That was the cleanest I've seen Hawthorn play. They come out with a vengeance, but because of the wet, sloppy football, couldn't get it on the scoreboard.
Geelong started like a house on fire.
Yeah.
They started very, very strong. And Hawkins looks like he could go another year or two. He's playing fantastic football as he usually does.
And he can back deep because of the position he plays or the type he plays. He just sits forward, holds his man out, and marks and kicks. Like, that's not body taxing. Like, he could go probably another 3 or 4.
Absolutely. He does lead at the ball as well. Like, he gets space from his opponent, leads at the ball. But Hawthorn, I think they're going backwards this year.
I would agree with that.
They got a few injuries though, don't they? And I think you mentioned too, Marbio Chol coming in for their side was a big in, and he's been pretty impressive.
He was very good. He was very good today.
Him and Guinea up in the forward line have been really solid contributors. But but their backline's decimated with injuries. They've got Sicily trying to play a lockdown role. He's not a lockdown defender.
No, and it's hurting his game too because he likes to float in. But he's got to stand up and do what's best for the team, I suppose. But they are the same. They're young, and when a young side gets hit with injuries, you don't have the depth.
Hard to beat 26v22 with the umpires. Anthony's also came out after the game, said it was the Geelong officials' phone looking at the weather radar. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So then he shouldn't be doing it, but I don't know. I don't see
if you're sitting in the locker rooms for half an hour because of lightning storms, you're probably like, what's going on? Can we play?
But I don't know. Doc, yes, we'll touch on that later too.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be the next segment.
The umpires have been terrible all year. We will touch onto that. But yeah, no, it was a very sloppy game today, but the weather didn't help.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It would have helped all those having Geelong 1-39 though.
Yes. All right. I think that was a good lead up to our next segment. And one of the favourite segments is Moisty's Minute.
Yeah, we're going a bit different this week because I just wanted to touch on this, but just a question we're going to answer, and then we're going to talk about it for a minute and see if we can get an answer to it. I don't think we will because it's a very big topic, but how do we fix the umpiring? Because it seems to be one or more games a week are getting butchered. Oh, am I phasing into Moisty's Minute, or are we good?
No, we're good. We're in.
We're good? Yeah. Sweet.
They'll still hear you talking over the top. Do you think that the umpires, like, they've looked at the way teams have played the last week and they're gone, all right, say Collingwood this week, they're this and this and this, so let's pick them for this to try and slow them up from doing that all game.
Like to pick on their game style on what they're doing to cause free kicks, do you mean?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, or something the officials don't agree with, so they're going to try and nitpick them and say, hey, pick up your game up on this stuff.
Like what they do with Ginnivan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't mind that as long as it's like that for everybody. Now, we were at this Richmond-Sydney game sitting next to my brother, and one end of the ground had 9 or 10 holding the balls, and this end of the ground got nothing for the same thing. Now, I don't know if the umpires, I don't know how the umpires work. Did they do a side each? But it must have been one umpire wasn't paying them, and one was. Now, we need that out of the game, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very hard game to umpire. I don't know if having the 4 umpires is making it more confusing because we were talking about umpiring issues this time last year as well.
Yeah.
So we're not really seeing any improvement. I actually think the game is starting to be over umpired. I really do.
I say this all the time. Like finals last year, that was the perfect umpire.
Yeah.
Like they did miss some, but I'd rather miss 1 or 2 than pay. The North Melbourne Carlton game, there's 56 free kicks.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was actually really frustrating, even being there as a Carlton supporter and watching the game, hearing the whistle go off literally every 20 to 30 seconds.
And we'll say, oh, what's it for? Like you or me were looking at each other. We're just trying to guess on what the free kick was for because we couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But as a way for fixing, I reckon, now this is just me personally, they should have a lead umpire and come out maybe before the season, I don't know, just explain how they're going to monitor the rules this year. Mm-hmm. Just to clarify, because they have meetings, they tell the umpires how they want them to umpire.
Oh, they have to, yeah.
But we don't know that. So they could have told them to umpire like this, hey, let holding the ball go, we want the... Well, that's fine. Just come out and tell us that so the fans aren't getting frustrated with that's why there's no call.
Yeah, I get more frustrated with they call for one end or one person or one team and not call for the other with the drop in the ball.
Yeah,
that's one that's been really frustrating me. What about you guys in chat? What's been frustrating you about the umpiring so far this year?
Well, Doc's gone. The umpires have been terrible all year. Craig's got. I blame the official then for allowing him to do it. Anthony's just umpire like it's the finals game every game of the year. Carlton Flag he agrees with you, Taz.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony and Todd in regards to finals umpiring was the best umpiring and the most enjoyable games of football, not just because it was a finals game, but because they actually let the players go at it. if there's an obvious free kick, sure, call it. If it's a 50-50, like I'm still confused about this ruck rule because you're allowed to block now. But on the weekend at the Carlton North game, Zeri was doing exactly that. And De Koning was getting a free kick for it.
He got called for shepherding in the ruck, and I was telling you, I'm like, you're allowed to do that now. Like,
Exactly.
there's no blocking in the ruck anymore. So I think even umpires are starting to get a bit confused as well.
Yeah, and that tells me that they're calling too much. But I think we've gone a bit longer than Moisty's minute, but I think it's a really good topic. And I'd love to hear more from those in chat on what they think that, what could be implemented or taken out for the umpiring to feel a bit less.
And I've just seen Turtle here. Collingwood get railed against St Kilda, and instead he said they'd win the free kick against Brisbane, which they did. And I think that's frustrating too. Like, you watch North Melbourne and Carlton next week. Carlton will get nothing next week.
Yep.
And North Melbourne will get everything.
Yeah, I said that to you at the game as well. I go, you watch Fremantle will get all the free kicks against us next week.
And that makes it even worse, I think. There shouldn't be an agenda on the cards. It should be just umpire the game how you would like to be umpired.
Yeah.
Anthony's got this no consistency. I get frustrated that each week they have a certain agenda they want to push with the umpiring.
Yeah.
Like the back 1 week holding the ball another week.
Or
in the back,
And Carlton Flagger's just there. He goes, we still probably would have won. And I said that at the game too. I said to Tazzy, he's probably still would have won, but it just sort of put a lull in the game in the last quarter.
Yeah,
Young was excited.
Imagine if they didn't lose heart like North Melbourne, they'd come back into it and made it more competitive, and it was like a really close game.
Yeah, correct. Craig Williams has got here. It's frustrating to see these umpires trying to take over the game. It's footy. Let them play. They have to find ways to involve themselves in the game. Absolutely, they do, and that's exactly what Moisty said on Friday. They need to show that they're around in the game. They should be invisible.
Yeah,
they should not be something that you focus on when you go to the footy. That you should be there to watch your team play. Yes, you're going to get free kicks here and there, but if it's a 50-50, you know that it's not going to be called either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Oh, we better move on to that. Moisty's minutes just blown up to Moisty's 10. But that's all right.
Let's go to our favourite segment now.
Oh.
Yeah, the favourite segment of the week. We've got Egi's deep dive coming in.
Yeah. We need to get an animation for it.
Yeah, no, it's in the works. I've got it on my to-do list, and there's a few talks in this thing. But anyway, the drug saga rocked the AFL mid to late last week, and I could not wait to talk about it. And there's even talks of around 100 players are in the mix-up.
100 players?
Yeah. Now, does everyone think it's wrong how this has come about? I believe the AFL has given players a safe space to check before game day. A lot are widely against them, but I like what they have done. Imagine a player had worries and just went to a GP and the word got out, or even a club doctor. I believe having it in the industry wide means that cannot point out one player or one team and have a lot of precautions in place to keep the player identity out of the media. But how do you feel about the drug saga?
Look, I think players doing drugs and then trying to perform at an elite level and putting their body through it, I don't think it's a very safe thing to do. I really don't.
It's not a safe thing to do.
It's not safe, and it's not fair either. But I think performance-enhancing drugs are different to party drugs, but these guys are public figures.
Yeah.
You don't want them teaching kids that recreational drugs are good as well.
Well, that's why I think the AFL have become, hey, if you feel worried about what you've done over the last few days, get like a pre-scan, so when you come to game day, you're not going to get booked. Then
Yeah,
because I did see that they're getting so it's before game day, not before testing.
Yeah.
Well, Melbourne back in like 2015, 2016 were taking players to get blood tests before the game and then listing them as a late out due to a hamstring injury or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? That could have been going since then. You just don't know. I do think that the AFL does need to look at it from both sides. Like, they need to look at it as supporters support the club. They pay memberships. They fund the club. they kind of have a right to know what's happening with the players within the club on their team. But then from the AFL's perspective and the club's perspective, they want their players to still be role models for the supporters. So then if it's let's say if it was a Paddy Cripps, for example, would they really want that news to get out and a black mark to go against Paddy Cripps and all the supporters turn on him?
Yeah,
No.
exactly right. Like it's both, and you want these guys to self-report. You want them to go, "Hey, I fucked up," but
Yeah.
then to get that to happen, you need to give them a safe space to. They're not going to do it. They're going to try and hide it come game day. If you come and self-report, and then you go, "Hey, he's been doing blah blah blah," and you just out him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I reckon there should be a safe space too.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's very smart, especially because, recreational drugs nowadays, you don't know what's in them anyway.
Yeah.
But you also, the impact it's having on your body and on your heart, depending on what they're doing, someone could have a heart attack
Yeah.
because they're pushing their bodies to extreme. That's just my opinion.
No, yeah, I agree with that too. I don't think it has a role in the game, but I do understand that it is a part of many cultures now.
It is, yeah. And it's like if we stop them from doing it, where do you draw the line? Like, are you going to start testing doctors or school teachers or people around machinery or bus drivers and stuff like that? Like, I know a lot of it is like not so much police, but it's looked into. But I don't think every time a bus driver goes to drive a bus, he gets alcohol or drug tested or.
They do surprise ones though, and a lot of industries do have surprise drug testing now.
Yeah.
And if you are found positive, you might get one warning and then sacked, or there might be no warnings. So when you look at it from just a business perspective, you do have to be really careful because you can lose your job. Should the AFL go down the same path?
I think there should be things in place. Like if there's someone coming there more frequent than other players to get a test on you, like, well, obviously he's doing it a lot more consistent.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's still like this, but I'm pretty sure you got 3 warnings before they had to report to the AFL.
Yeah, well, I think yeah.
I'm pretty sure like that's enough. I don't think you give them any more. Keep the first 2 quiet. The third one's.
But I think this has come out as they're doing pre-checks before it comes to those 3.
Correct.
For pre-pre's, yeah, so they don't get their strikes.
So if they're doing that, I don't think that's acceptable.
No, because then there's no point in paying this third body to do the tests if clubs can get around doing those tests.
Yeah. I'm just going to catch us up on chat here. Where are we? So Craig's got here. It's frustrating to see the umpires trying to take over the game. I've read that before. Sorry. Turtle's got boxing coming up. Who's your winner? Corns versus Brown and Swanee versus Thomas.
I've got Corns and Swanee, I think.
Well, I think everyone wants Corns to get bashed over Nathan.
Oh, no, he does.
Yeah, I've got Brown and Swanee. I think.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
George has got here, at least the boundary umpires are letting the game flow. They aren't calling out of bounds. It's play on.
One of them's letting it go.
Craig Williams, but it wasn't the girls. But it wasn't when the girls were playing different. One to old mate from Melbourne having it in his system while playing. I don't know much about the AFLW girls.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'm pretty sure they were on an in-the-season trip.
And they called it possession. Whereas was it Joel Smith? He was the one he got
on it during the game.
He got tested game day and found positive.
And he was trafficking 2 teammates allegedly.
Well, I think that's the problem. Like, if you've been messaging your mate saying, "I've got some, do you want some?" Blah blah blah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that he's got the strike against him. That's when they've dived deep into them. And I think that's when
it's only the start of it. You reckon?
Yeah.
I can see that. Stephen here, footballers are people and don't know what they're going through, and have a safe space for players is good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Tom was saying.
Because like you don't know what they like. People deal with stress in
different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. Like
and that's it. Like if you're gonna just berate them out for a mistake or an accident, like they've got to have spaces too.
Yeah, because how many young pop stars go go through drug scandals because they can't cope with the pressure. I don't think
90%.
being a top-known football player is any different. When you go out in Melbourne, you're going to get handed every time you go out. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you just need your friends to put the phones away. That's where a lot of them are getting in trouble as well. Anthony here, they get self-reported 1 million times and it's still just one strike. Artie, Franklin was spared from being charged or suspended as the AFL kept his rap sheet unofficial. Biggest cokehead. I think that's pretty well known outside of, or allegedly well known.
Allegedly, I was about to say we're starting to get in a bit of murky waters here. We probably don't want to keep going around.
We're going diving down into the past.
Yeah, we don't know what people do, what players do, but there is a lot of rumors about who's on what. And
but I don't think it's just about the AFL industry. I think it's a social aspect, like the whole broad community.
It's wide now. It's every community.
Well, it's a lot more socially acceptable. You just listen to, I work with a lot of young people, and I'm sure you guys do as well. And you just listen to the conversations, and it is a lot more socially acceptable from when we were all younger and when the people above us were younger. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know what they do.
Clarence has got a Senate inquiry. I'm not too sure about that.
I've heard there is one, but we'll wait and see on that one. So
because it's all about avoiding WADA. But you look at all the other professional sports in the world, and what are their rules on it?
Nothing really, is it?
Everyone.
They look at the peptide slide, or it being on them during their performance.
Because it's not performance enhancing; it's different.
Yeah.
So
some of them can be. Like imagine you're about to run or swim 200 meter sprint or something, or 400 meter sprint, and you take 2 grams of speed or something just to perk up a bit. It's going to be performance enhancing, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. But we'll move on. We could talk about this all night.
We'll just keep going on that one. So
put on the telly. How many times does Taz say, we could talk about this all night? We're going to put a telly up next week.
All right, now for the third and final segment, probably another favourite one of mine is a viewer questions with Tazzy.
Yes. All right. So we've got 3 questions this week that we're going to read out. 2 of them are actually from Turtle, and actually both of these are in chat tonight. So this is really good. So we'll start with Turtle. First question is discussions from Lee Matthews to introduce a send-off rule for hits that cause players to be out of the game, like Peter Wright's hit. So what do we think of that?
I am against it. Now, the only reason I'm against it is Peter Wright was a split the second. Yes, he could have done it better. He could have done this. But what if it's in a marking contest? So you say people send off for players that cause injury. Someone could land on your leg and snap your ankle. That's caused you to send off. Do I go off now? Just because what if the pack lands on you? What if 3 or 4 blokes land on you? Do 3 or 4 blokes get sent off? I'm like, where do we join the line? I don't think a send-off rule works in the AFL at all.
What about that? When Collingwood and St Kilda were playing, and the 2 St Kilda players ran into each other, and one was carried off the field.
Yeah, and Collingwood was involved. Does the Collingwood bloke get sent off because of that? Because he was involved in that contest? I don't think it works personally.
I think it creates too much of a grey area.
Yeah.
And who decides that?
Yeah.
Then we get more power to the umpires that we were complaining about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. So what about a sin bin?
But sin bin's the same in our game. So NRL and sin bin, you might score 1 try. AFL sin bin, you'll kick 10 goals.
Yeah.
A sin bin is effectively that's the game over for the other team. If it's 17 versus 18, AFL you can work that extra player a lot better than you can in
absolutely
NRL.
Absolutely. What do you think, Egi?
Oh, I'm on the fence about it. Like, what if it's like a blatant, like a punch in the stomach, like we saw in Pendlebury, if an umpire saw that, or like a blatant headshot that took like no duty of care. I think, but I suppose where do you draw the line?
Where
do you draw the line of what was specific and what wasn't?
And we know
it's hard.
It could be one. It could be. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it could be one that maybe the ARC come back and say, right, they've got like 30 seconds to review an incident, and they come back saying, yes, it's a sin bin or not. But again, they're going to be looking at replays. Things look a lot worse when it's slowed down, as we know.
And what happens if it happens in the ball up and they're looking at the arc? Do they just stop the game and say, hey, send him off? What happens there? Like,
I think that they let play go. They feed through to the umpire to say, right, he does need to be sent off. Next stoppage, he gets sent off.
yeah, I don't think it'll work. I don't know. It could, but I don't like the idea.
Craig's put no. Sills put, I think Simbin works on blatant hits. A Barry Hall hit needs to be off.
Well, Hall shouldn't have played again for that hit. That's my opinion.
I think blatant things like that, definitely sent off. And Peter Wright, that sort of thing, definitely.
I agree with Cody here. We're trying to change too many rules too quickly. It's killing the sport.
That's actually a very good point, yeah.
I think a lot of it's around the concussion rule and everything that now too. So
yeah,
I think that's rolled a whole lot of different sort of rules come into play. Try and stop the concussion. That's what I think. These are like the blatant hits on the head, or the insert like the unincidental, or what am I trying to say? The not
accidental.
Yeah, accidental hits.
But then, would you call Peter Wright's blatant or accidental?
I'd say it was accidental because it hits like previous shoulder history and stuff like that, and he just sort of braced himself for the impact.
Yeah. Now let's turn that around. He does that to Nick Dacos. Is that blatant or deliberate?
I still think it's the same.
It's
just,
so that's what.
But like we don't have time to look into those stats before when he gets the hit. You got to try and make that call right there and then. Isn't it?
Yeah.
He braced. He turned. To me, that's about as deliberate as you're going to get. And if you send him off for that, I think it's a huge penalty.
Oh, it's a massive penalty. Massive penalty. They should be able to replace him with the sub. But it's also like I heard one of the footy players talking during the week, and they go, in a situation like that, you've got milliseconds to decide and react. He goes, but what we need to train ourselves to do now after the outcome of that is to actually just keep our arms out.
Or just pull up. So he was in the air, that.
He couldn't.
He jumped, seen him before he jumped. So he jumped after he seen him. What they're saying is that decision, he's coming back. We want you to stop.
Yeah.
Is effectively what they're saying. We don't want you to run through him anymore.
Yeah. Anthony Scott, I think it only works on dog shots. It is controversial ones like the Maynard hit last year. Ross has put, that's what the medical sub's for. And Anthony says, does he get sin binned?
So Maynard last year, that's another good one because that was as bad as deliberate as it gets.
And that's when I think it changed the rule.
Yeah, in a footy act, deliberate though.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving on. We are running out of time this evening. Second question from Turtle is the talks around Pendles and Sidebottom being too old. Do you agree? Keeping in mind, it's only 6 months ago they were both playing extremely well. I don't think it's got anything to do with them being too old. I just think that they're still working their way into the season. They're at the ages now, and they were last year, where they're going to have to be rested for a couple of times. I really do think that to maintain their longevity to get through the season. But I think they're both still fantastic players and still add a huge amount of value to the team.
And it's so much warmer now too, just in feet. So I don't think your energy is quite up there as much as when you're in the cold.
Yeah, and I touched on this just before with the season started a week or two earlier. They've had a week or two less preseason, and I think you find most teams, the older bodies aren't coping with it well.
Yeah.
And the experienced players, as we call them, aren't coping well. Those two have been off, but they've got to play the rest of the season anyway. Like you can't just scrap them now.
Yeah, and they still add value.
Well, just see, like Pendles and Sidebottom could win the BNF. You don't know, like it's still not out of the question.
Correct.
But that being said, with the extended seasons and the shorter, I think we're going to find players retiring earlier.
Possibly. I also think that their form is reflective of Collingwood's form at the moment.
Yeah.
Just not great. Like one in the team is performing, but we're not bringing in any other player into it. We're only talking about these sort of guys because they are on that older end.
Yeah. And that's what they're saying. Two players are playing longevity. Like these two players, 10 years ago, you wouldn't play to this age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
players are playing longer, which is why I think we'll find them start shortening careers because they're not going to be able to keep up with the game,
Yeah,
with the pace. Especially this year. This year, the younger teams are putting pace on the ball, and they are going flat at St Kilda's, Essendon's, Carlton's, Sydney's, Richmond's, North Melbourne's, even Brisbane's. They're all putting pace on the ball, which is gut running.
yeah, exactly. All right,
GWS, I probably left the most attacking one out. GWS, you try chasing them all day.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
Carlton Flaggers question, third and final question tonight. Is Harry Mackay the best key forward at the moment?
Mine's Hogan. Hogan for mine. Absolutely dominating.
I'm on the fence. Hogan is good, but I think McKay's having a bit of trouble that he's got Charlie Curnow next to him as well. I think they're going to be stealing a lot of ball of each other. But if you have a look at like the Coleman sort of tally at the moment, we got Hogan at the top. We've got Fritz. Fritz has played an extra game than these boys though, and then we've got McKay, Stringer, and Curnow. What's that? There's two out of the top 6 players that are from Carlton, both full forwards. So,
they are kicking some big goals, but then you just got to take into account too. They just both kick 5 against North.
Yeah.
I still think even if Mackay doesn't win the Coleman, I still think he's going to have a career best year for him personally, because he's also playing that second ruckman role, and so he should. He's 204, 203 centimeters. He's getting around the ground. He's always got his hands on the ball. So when he does go forward as a resting forward, he's actually fresh, if that makes sense.
And he's 11-2, so there's only 2 behinds there as well.
Yeah, his kicking is incredible. He really got to work on that in the off season, and he's still one of the best contested marks in the league.
Oh, great contested mark. Well, that's where I think Jesse Hogan is staying at home more. That's why I'd say key forward, whereas McKay's going up the ground.
Yes,
he's sort of playing high half forward, not a key forward position.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I'd put Hogan over McKay, and probably Hogan and Curnow I might do at the moment.
Yeah.
Also, Craig's put, correct me if I'm wrong, 20 years ago concussion was barely heard of until someone came out and sued AFL. Now we're seeing this being a massive thing, and it's the slightest bump that put you into protocols. Yet boxing, UFC, and so on is still fine. I think that because of those court cases is why.
Well, exactly right. So in boxing, UFC, you sign waivers.
Yeah.
That'll come into AFL.
Yeah, I reckon it'll come into the AFL, and until... And I think that's why they're having these like post AFL, the boxing that's coming up on Wednesday. It was like, well, if anything comes to concussion from those people, they could write that off as it could have been the boxing and not the AFL's fault.
Yeah, I have heard that as well.
I
definitely.
Sorry, you go.
I definitely think that it will come in future, and they're already starting to bring in helmets for younger players now. But a lot of it is based off the back of all these players suing the AFL now for concussion injuries.
There's a massive lawsuit going on at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So the AFL's got to get in front of this, and this is how they're trying to make it look. I don't know if it is helping, but trying to make it look like they're helping.
And I think they have to show a duty of care as well.
Yeah. But I think the younger kids need to start. They get paid pretty well. Start saying this is a clause in your contract. There is a risk of these injuries. You waive your right to sue if duty of care is taken. So blatant one like Barry Hall on Staker, that wouldn't be duty of care.
That would be covered.
That's like not, but yeah.
Yeah, that would be covered, something like that. But if it's someone flying back with the flight of the ball, different story. But all right, tipping. So we have...
So G Raw has been caught, I believe, on top. We now have 2 runners up there.
We do. G Raw and Dunning. Of course, they have Dunning 69 at the end of their name.
Yep, Brian Dunning there. He's
but I want to point out, is Dunning's an Essendon supporter? I feel like he is he?
He is an Essendon supporter.
I think that's the only tip he got wrong this week.
No, he got it right.
Oh, did he?
Essendon won. Yeah, Essendon won.
No, I don't think he tipped them.
I'm sure. Yeah, he would have tested Essendon. For sure. The only one he got wrong was the Brisbane. I know because I'm in a private league with him.
Okay.
So the only one he's smashing me in that one too. But the only one
Maybe my app was playing that. So I thought the only one he got wrong was the.
No, there's no way he's tipping against Essendon, especially St Kilda. Him and Dean are giving each other crap at work.
I just want to catch up on chat a little bit. Sorry, guys. Didn't realize there was so many comments there. It's great. Pendle's still averaging 20 plus disposals by Stephen Brosnahan, and game changes in June and July, August. George, Harry is not just a key forward. He is a key player all over the ground at the moment. Absolutely.
Yep.
Anthony, Curno's still best for mine. He hasn't played a good game all year and still kicking goals. I agree with that.
Quarter doesn't come.
Carlton Flaggers, 24. Keep in mind his field kicking as well. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be considered a key forward now. That's actually
I reckon he's more the floating high half forward than a key forward. He's still kicking goals, which is what you want your high half forwards to do. But I reckon Curno's the number one man in that forward line now, and he's the high floater.
Yeah,
I think Taz got some codes. Harry McKay contested marks was 11, and Jesse Hogan was only 9. And
that's still only 2 different though.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Who's 9? Sorry,
Jesse Hogan.
Only 9 goals.
Contested marks, and then Charlie Curno's on 9 contested marks as well. So
yeah.
And artist put here, it will soon be touch netball.
I hope not as well, and that'll be the day, football guys, that we go to touch football.
Definitely. All right,
and then also, sorry, because there was no perfect round this week. We got the pool up to $20, so make sure you put your tips in.
Oh, jackpot! Let's get that jackpot to hit.
$20.
I think we had 2 close this week. I think they both would have. What G-Raw missed out on Essendon?
I don't know.
So Dunny's missed Brisbane, and G's probably missed. Oh, no, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I think she picked Brisbane.
Brisbane, so they both missed Brisbane, which is a tough one to miss out on too.
Yeah, but all right. Anything else from you two, gents?
No, mate. We're a bit 5 minutes late, so that was a bit of umpire abuse during the show.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. As always, if you aren't following us on our socials, please follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
and make sure you've got that 10% off the shop too. So check that out for the first 10 people.
Yes, definitely. And if you haven't already, we'd love you to like this live. It would really help us grow our channel, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any further live episodes. We will be live every Sunday moving forward, 7:30 p.m. Tell your family, tell your friends. We'd love to get everyone involved. And let's hope that round 4 is another explosive round of footy.
Cheers, guys.